Hey everybody, in this session we're going to talk about outsourcing strategies. This is something I have a lot of experience with. I actually used to own an office in India and also an office in the Philippines. And I've also hired a lot of people here in the US as well. So we're going to talk about, basically why you want to outsource, when you should outsource, using first world versus third world, what to pay, and the editorial process. Going to kind of walk you through how we, usually take our writers and what we have them do. So why would you want to outsource? Well, obviously I think that's probably pretty obvious to you. For two reasons. Number one, scaling your business and also giving you more kind of free time to focus on things in your business other than writing articles. Now, you need to understand the article process, and that's why I highly encourage you to actually write articles, learn how to do it, because even though you're going to do, you might be outsourcing, getting other people to write them, this is a different kind of writing than most people are used to. So you might be taking their articles and tweaking them a little bit, tweaking the headlines, and you won't know how to do that unless you do it yourself. So most people will get started with this and they'll learn it, they'll do it themselves. Maybe you don't have the budget to outsource yet, so you're just gonna, you're on a shoestring budget and you're just gonna make this work. And so you're gonna crank out your 3 to 4 articles a day. You're gonna work on this about an hour a day. 90 minutes and crank out those articles. Maybe you're going to get some family members to help you. Hey, it's something great that a spouse could do, your kids could do. I've got some kids that are older, they're living at home now, and they write articles for me to kind of help, pay for the rent, to pay for living, for driving my cars and that. So, but really what it'll do for you is it'll scale your business, and then you'll be able to start multiple sites, be able to run a true publishing content business. And even though you can run this from home, you can even have a global team that's working for you. But the question is, when should you outsource? And I kind of just talked about that briefly, but some people were going to start outsourcing right from the get-go, and maybe they've got the funds to go ahead and start paying some writers and get going with that. And other people want to wait till they're learned how to do the articles themselves, and maybe they're making a little money and they have the budget to do it. So the question, I don't have the answer for you. You're going to have to make that answer. It all depends on all those factors. So let's talk about using first world versus third world people to write the articles. So I already mentioned that this is a different type of writing. It's not necessarily like news reporting. You're actually writing editorial comments and doing things in a special way to try to get people to click into the article, stay in the article, and stay engaged. So it takes a little bit of skill and talent to learn, and not everyone has that. The other thing is it depends the country that you're targeting. So if I'm writing articles, here's the deal. If I knew a little bit of Japanese and I was making sites in Japan, and by the way, guys, international sites are awesome with this business model. But if I was writing articles for the Japanese market, I don't know if I would do very well, because I don't necessarily know the culture. I don't know the words correctly, and so I might struggle a little bit. Well, we have the same issue here, is that many times when you hire third world, Philippines, India, and that, the thinking process is different. The type of English they use is different. The way they write is different. And what happens is your audience in the US, Australia, UK, they read it and it just sounds kind of funny to them. It doesn't sound right. Now, that's not to say that there are not people in those countries that can write the way like Americans think or the way they write. And I'm going to show you one country, and it's right there in the Philippines. There are a lot of writers in this country that can write American English, if that's your target market. So the bottom line, you're going to pay less for people in third world, but you might not get as good quality. You're going to pay more for people in first world. You know what though? I found that in both, you're going to get varying degrees. My biggest thing is don't overpay for your articles, and we'll talk about that here in just a moment. We're going to talk about it right now. So what to pay. All right, so some people will pay per article, and it depends on the article. So sometimes a little video editorial that's 500 words, it might be $10 to $15. But it also depends on the quality. If someone gives you cruddy articles, it's not even worth $2. But you might want to start out with someone paying them per article, maybe $10, maybe $12. It really kind of depends on how long. And you also kind of let people know that once they get right in these, they can do them quicker. And so maybe their first 10 will take them a little bit longer, but then they get really good at them. And that's with getting the photo to me and the actual article written a certain way. Or you can pay people a salary. I have one buddy who does this. He has about 4 people that write for him. He has a very, very large publishing business, and these are all Americans, and he pays them about $800 to $1,000 a week. So he's paying them top dollar, and they do really, really good jobs for him. However, I do know that it's kind of a stress for him. And so I like to kind of find the balance. I like to find people that are good, but I don't like to overextend myself and have a bunch of people on the payroll. I would rather pay per article, or if I'm going to pay per salary, there has to be some type of requirement that they got to get so many done per day or per week. That's how I prefer to do it. One other thing that we've done, which has worked really well, is that we'll pay per article. However, if we have an article that goes viral, meaning it gets so many shares, if it reaches the threshold of shares, we actually pay them a bonus. So we pay them like a $25 bonus. So that actually worked really well for me with one of my writers that I did, and it made them work really hard to, a little extra hard. And every month he would get different bonuses. He was international, and he probably would get about 4 or 5 of those little $25 extra bonuses, and to him that was a big deal. Who to hire? All right, so let me talk about some of the categories of hiring people. Excuse me. Yeah. All right, so people to hire. Moms, stay-at-home moms, they are just dying for work to do, things that they can do during the day while the kiddos are, taking a nap, work out a couple hours here. Moms are really good, and they're in that market, and they also kind of understand the whole social media thing, and they're really good at the DIY, and if that's your niche. So they're really good, and they usually love to do it per article. College kids are good as well. Sometimes it's kind of hard to nail them down and keep them focused because they're all over the place, but college kids also can do really well, and they kind of get it. They understand the whole social media thing, and they kind of understand the whole viral articles and videos, and they're really good at finding them as well. Retirees, you never know. You can find some really good writers and people that are in that like older generation. So you're gonna just have to maybe test them out and see what you can get. The type of people internationally that I'm going to highly recommend is that you get people from a country like the Philippines or South Africa, countries that maybe you can get some people for a little less than normal, but still work really good. I love the Philippines, and there are some really good Filipino writers out there that think like American. The thing about the Philippines is there's been a huge American influence in there since World War II. I had a whole office over there with about 20 plus employees, and it was awesome. They love America. They have classes where they learn how to speak with an American accent. It's hilarious. Our office was right next to them. We would hear them speaking, and they'd be like, microcomputer, they try to teach them the accents and that, because there's a lot of call centers out there, a lot of really good talent out there. So here's the thing, you can get some Filipinos for a really good price out there for hiring them. Most of them are going to be hired full-time or part-time, but you're going to pay anywhere from $300 to $400 to maybe even $600 a month. But boy, you could hire one person to do, and they could probably do all your articles, at least for one of your sites. They can easily probably crank out 3 to 4 articles a day. Yeah, and that's them working 8 hours a day. They could maybe even crank out a little bit more. But you're also going to give them some other jobs. You're going to give them some work eventually in your social media posting as well. So I have a really good friend who helped me get my office out there in the Philippines started. His name is John Jonas. He's got a site called onlinejobs.ph. So I made a special deal with him because I called him up and I said, hey, listen, I need some more writers for me, and I'm going to be bringing a lot of our partners in who need writers. And he said that if people will go and they'll use that link, viralsitesystem.com/outsource, he will make sure that anyone here, not only can you go through his system and get people hired, but you can reach out and coordinate through me, and then it will coordinate through him. And he has a personal recruiter that will vet people and actually go find you writers. So this is like not a service that he offers. This is something that he's just doing because I'm a really good friend of his. I don't know how many he can do it for. Let's just kind of see as many as they can find, but they've got a lot of people on there. So just, here's how it works. Go to viralsitesystem.com/outsource, go create your account, and then let me know, and then I'll tell John what you're looking for. You let me know what you're looking for, and then he'll have his personal recruiter out in the Philippines actually go through, and they already know people that have worked for others that have done really well. So you can do it without the vetting, but why not use it? Yeah, that's what I recommend. And a couple other things is, again, you're going to have to teach these people how to do this, and you may have to get their articles and make sure you're pretty clear with them about what types of articles need to be written. But the one biggest thing you have to worry with outsourcing is copying, that they're not actually just blatantly ripping off places. There are websites out there to be able to see if people are ripping off. I think, I can't remember the name of it. See if someone is copying your content. I can't remember the name of the website. Let's just go find it really quick. It is Copyscape. Yeah, that's it. So Copyscape, you can pretty much figure out if people are totally ripping you off. So what I will do many times is I will take their articles and I'll take them through Copyscape, and I can see exactly if they plagiarized, and I won't pay them if they've completely plagiarized an article. They've got to be original. I would do that with all my writers. So go use Copyscape. So, hey, for the price that it costs to hire an outsourcer out there, it can be a really, really good deal for you. One other thing that might be helpful for you, you might want to do a hybrid of this. So sometimes you have a lot of articles you just know aren't going to be viral, but they're going to be, halfway decent articles. And those are sometimes what I call filler articles. And then you have your viral articles. Maybe you write the viral articles, or you get one person who's like the viral article expert, and then you have a person or two that are kind of the filler articles. And then sometimes some of those filler articles can be turned into viral articles, but it's just something to consider. I've done that many, many times. So I want to go over the last thing and show you the actual process of how you do that. So there's a couple ways. Is number one, when you're first getting started with someone, have them write some articles and just say, hey, this is what I need. I need an article that is 500 words, and I need a really good picture at 1200 by 630. 1200 by 630 pixels, and then write me 10 articles and just give it to me in a Google Doc or a Word document, and just see how they do it. That's how I usually take a new person. And then once we decide to hire them, then what we do, we kind of maybe take that next step, and we go into our WordPress account, and we go to users, and we add a new user, and we create a user for them, and you make them an author. And there's a certain amount of trust that people have when you put them in the system here. And so you want to be able to put them in as an author. If they're an editor, then they can go delete stuff. You can play around with contributor as well, but you got to make sure that they can't go in and just delete a bunch of stuff if you get the wrong person. The other thing is create an actual user account for them, so when they publish the article, it's through them. But teach them when they do a post that they save the post in the status. They save it in pending review. Okay, so pending review makes it so that you can log in and you can see your pending review articles and approve them or disapprove them. You don't want these people posting articles if they're not approved yet, because hey, you've got to have some pretty strict editorial guidelines. But it's nice, once you get people going, they will come in there, and then you can just come in there and quickly approve articles or disapprove articles. And then eventually you can get to the point where someone is really good and you just let them post. Just let them post articles. And once they get to that point where you can kind of trust them, then you don't need to worry about that. So, and then your business runs even a little bit more automated. And another thing you can do is you can get one person who is the editor and the other people who are the publishers. So they publish the articles, and the one person does the editing and does the social media posting. And that's the last thing I want to talk about that wasn't on our first thing, is posting to your Facebook page. So this is another important thing, and we're going to be talking about that extensively in another video. But I want to show you that each one of your posts will be posted to your Facebook page, and it's got to be done in a very certain way. So for articles to go viral, you're going to be writing something here, and a lot of times what you write here is more important than the article, because it's usually what people are going to see here on Facebook. So for example, like on this one, talk about a last second rescue. My heart is still pumping out of my chest, and I have a huge smile because of what happened at the very end. So it's like, oh my gosh, this car's sinking. What happened at the very end? That's a little bit of clickbaity. Let's see, here's another, you're going to be having them post pictures in here. And so those are all the things that an outsourcing person can do for you. So it's something that you might want to definitely consider. And if you get somebody to do that, then that's when your business can really, really start scaling, and you can even grow and even take a little bit more time off for yourself. Okay, so that's all about outsourcing, everybody. We'll see you on another video.